Hello, everyone. Welcome back and Happy New Year. It is now 2020.
Yes, it is. This is the year to see things clearly.
Hmm.
I actually got tired of that joke very quickly, but it has a lot of
And
meaning
yet
for a
you
lot of
still
people.
repeat it. So here we are, back at the ranch.
Once it starts to amuse me again, I don't care about repeating it. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Not really, no. Nothing that came to mind, actually. Which is shocking, but no. I'm just gonna live life and do what I need to do, I guess. For some reason, no resolution came to me this year. No need to redo myself or anything like that of that nature, so.
So it's not just a general concept of not liking New Year's resolutions. It's just you just don't think that you have anything to.
Nothing came to mind. Nothing came to me in a sense that needed to be a resolution, honestly. I
That's
didn't even
fair.
think about it. New Year's happened, the ball dropped, and we just moved on. The whole holidays came very quickly, so I don't even feel like there was time to make a New Year's resolution. What's yours?
I have some general ones. I'm always hesitant though to make New Year's resolutions because I feel like I've let myself down if I don't meet them. But I have a few. Some are regular, lose weight, eat better, drink less. I'd like to improve my financial situation. Stuff like that. Nothing over the top, world shattering. I'm not gonna have like a sex change or anything like that. Um, but if I can work on the ones that I just told you, then I would be a very happy man indeed.
Very nice. Very nice.
I didn't see the ball drop. I was watching the End of Days, that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from 1999.
Never watched it. Never was a big fan of him, honestly.
Honestly, I wasn't really paying that much attention to it, so I was kind of going in and out. And there was some weird scene where some guy was like using his powers. Apparently, he was Satan. Satan had possessed someone, and he was sleeping with a mother and a daughter at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a really. I wasn't paying attention, and then that's when I started paying attention, and I'm like, oh, well, not really missing much here. And then I kind of trailed off, and I heard banging outside. That's the only reason why I knew that it had hit midnight.
Yeah, the ball dropped. It was kind of anticlimactic. The ball dropped, and then the shows that we were watching was all different time frames, and it was still 11 o'clock somewhere, and it was 12 o'clock other places. It was just a whole hoopla. It was just a bunch of commotion.
Ball dropping isn't really a big event to me. I see the ball drop all the time every day I get out of the shower.
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
I actually stole that from an old TV show, Just Shoot Me. I don't know if you ever saw that show.
No.
That's one of my favorite stupid guilty pleasure shows of all time. It's like one of the only things that David Spade was in that I liked.
David Spade is funny, I feel.
My issue with David Spade is I find him to be funny, but I hate when people say he's a good actor.
Oh no, he sucks.
He plays the same, basically himself,
Yeah, basically.
in everything that he's in. Now, you know who's a great actor? Bryan Cranston,
Don't know who that is.
the guy from Breaking Bad. Oh, you might know him as Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, the
Yeah,
father.
he's good.
He's fucking hilarious. He's the reason to watch that show, Malcolm in the Middle. And then when I heard that he was playing a drug lord, I was like, that's never gonna work. How am I gonna see Malcolm's father dealing drugs and take him seriously? From episode 1, he reels you in. He's a very good actor. Anyone who could play two different roles like that and make you believe, that's a good actor. But yeah, no, Just Shoot Me was a very funny show. I enjoyed it. Anyone who never saw Just Shoot Me, I recommend it. Pretty much every character on that show is funny.
That's good. Sounds like it was a fun time.
There's a lot going on in the world right now.
There is.
We have the. I keep seeing World War III trending all over. I don't know if it's that serious, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but even if we do end up in war with Iran, is that really World War III, or is that just the U.S.-Iran war?
Well, from what I've been reading on Twitter and the articles that I've been trying to catch up on, it's not just Iran. It's going to be UK, Russia, Iran, and us. And what's going to happen is the powers will be the powers, and who they target will be who they target.
So we
Also,
don't know
China,
who's on whose side.
China will be also involved.
Well, China better be involved because that's the most overpopulated country.
Well, and it's also rumored. It's also rumored that Putin is funneling money to Trump for this, and there's so much speculation. I don't have any concrete on anything, so please don't quote me. But from what I've been reading recently, it's just been a lot of what the fuck is happening? Why did he do this? It was so messy. It was so unprepared. It was so this and so inconsiderate, and it's just a lot. There's a lot going on about people who can serve, who can't serve, and it's a bunch. And I can only imagine the families who are married to army men and women who now have to find out that their beloved is going to be going to war now. And God knows if they'll be coming home. So I can only imagine the stress that all those people are under. So that's the way the world is. I mean, we can talk about it if you want. I don't know how well versed you are and what's happening, and I know you defend that man like it's your last breath. So
disagree, but here's my thing. On one hand, I want to say, who are we to discuss politics, because are we really well versed enough to do that? But then on the other hand, isn't that what people do? They act like they know everything about everything and shove it down your throat. So,
well, have you read anything about what's going on?
Yeah, I was reading. I mean, last night and this morning, I would not call myself an expert on the matter. I'll tell you, because of who I am, the way I think, the first thing I see immediately is everybody shitting all over President Trump.
As they should.
For killing a man who they aren't disputing the fact that he killed thousands of Americans. Now, why isn't he responsible for starting World War III, for killing thousands of Americans, but President Trump is responsible for starting World War III for retaliating? I think that's very unfair.
Because of the way he did it.
And the way he did, effectively, successfully. We got him.
This isn't Osama. This is not that.
I didn't say it was. What does he have to do with it?
The way you sound like it was like if we caught Osama bin Laden.
I wish we caught him.
We did.
No, I mean, I caught him, not killed him. I wish he was a prisoner.
Why?
Because if he was still the leader, you could have got more information out of him.
But no one's disputing the fact that this man didn't deserve to die. No one's disputing that. They're disputing how he went about it. There was no literal communication between the houses. This was just, I woke up one morning and decided to go take a shit.
That is an iffy point. And this is the difference between...
And the house is mostly on his side. So therefore, if you're going to argue the point about the fact that they did communicate...
No. I was going to say, how much power should a president really have? See, he's more effective...
The president never had really power.
He's the commander-in-chief.
He makes the final decision, but also the decisions are made around him. They just need his final stamp of approval.
I'm actually... Oh God, I took a class on this, but it was a while ago. I'm pretty sure that with certain things, and military strikes are one of them, the president has, the authority to actually initiate...
So explain... So if that's... It could be true. It could honestly be true, I guess, when it comes to bills and...
But should he be allowed to? See, because there's arguments on both sides. Because he's more effective if he doesn't have to go through all the red tape. Because if he says what he's going to do, you don't think they're going to find out in Iran somehow that he's making this plan. He has to act quickly. But on the other side of that, if he's able to just do whatever willy-nilly, he has way too much power. And that fucking son of a bitch really did shut the air conditioner off. It is hot in here.
It's not hot in here at all.
I am sweating. You do not want... Trust me, I'm sweating. But I'm sorry, you were saying?
If you're talking about in regards to what he did, what's your stand on it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I feel like if it turns out that this guy really is this evil son of a bitch, and I mean, from what I've read,
he is. He's
they're parading in Iraq right now.
He's funneled multi billion dollars to terrorism. He's a lead person he's more dangerous than the Iran president. He has such immense
Mahmoud
power.
Ahmadinejad?
I have no idea. Honestly, I haven't really focused on Iran because I know there were such turmoils in Iran, but also there was an agreement and a pact between the United States and Iran. And it was one of these things where what he did not only affect Iran, it also affects the millions of people, innocent, guilty, and otherwise, who will die for a war that did not need to be started. This could have been done more eloquently. This could have been done amicably. This could have been done to a point where there was a tweet I read that said, "Don't you think the people in Iran aren't afraid of this man and want to live a different life?" Yes, but they're so tiptoeing how they can live their life because Iran is not a safe place to be,
No,
and therefore Trump doing this is only going to make things worse because they're not going to fight on American soil, and you know that.
What I want to know, and I don't know if it's been disclosed yet, is why now? Like what?
You ask him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did something happen that we either don't know about, or that
Apparently, there's also behind closed doors agreement between the Republican either Senate or Congress. I forget which one. I don't remember the article clearly. That they want to reverse Roe versus Wade.
Oh, that's a no-no.
Well, apparently there's a signed thing, and it could be happening.
So I don't understand why you say I defend this man to the bitter end. He does a lot of shit that I don't like.
But then you also just said today that a lot of people view him badly, and one little thing he does is shitty.
Yes.
But then how can you also say that the only thing he's done is the economy? Like which is going to either plummet or skyrocket with this war. We are facing 4 superpowers now. It is China, Russia, the UK, and Iran.
Yeah, but aren't the UK and Russia on our side?
God knows.
No, I mean, don't we all know too?
When the aligned powers were with, I think it was Italy. Who was it? Italy.
The alliances change with each war.
But the alliances were supposed to be on our side.
Wasn't Italy on the bad side?
Yeah, they were supposed to be on our side. There was a contract between them and us that they were supposed to be on our side. And when the war happened, they went to the other side.
I feel like these things aren't like the WWE. Like it's not like, oh my God, China betrayed us in the. No, I think there are fixed sides. We know who's on whose side. I just haven't.
That wasn't the case in the second war.
Are you sure?
I hope not, because I'm really bad at history.
I'm not, because see, here's the thing.
I'm quoting it now. I'm really bad at history, and this whole thing that's happening is really hard to catch up on, because it's happening real time.
No, it's a different world we're living in.
So it's like there's tweets and all these things, and it's one of those things where it's just happening a lot's happening, and it's only the 3rd day of the year.
So you're saying it's possible that like Russia says they're on our side, and then right at the last minute they hit us in the back with a steel chair.
Well, I guess if you want to do wrestling terms, yeah, because if you think about it, this is a whole different age. And if you think about it, the administration that's representing our country isn't really law-abiding.
That's the debatable point.
Are you kidding me? Let's talk about the impeachment that all of a sudden was a big deal prior to Christmas. Then when Christmas and the New Year's happened, nothing happened, and all of a sudden...
Why? Because they realized they didn't have a case.
Then all of a sudden he's going to war.
Mm-hmm.
To hold his presidency.
That's why I said Right, because everyone rallies behind the president.
You're telling me that they're going to do an impeachment in the middle of a war? You're going to tell me that they're going to proceed with impeachment hearings and proceedings in the middle of a war? Right before election season?
We have done several airstrikes in the last, 10 years.
To this degree? To the degree where you hit the equivalent of the vice president? You really think that this is going to be a thing?
Politically, no. I know we get another one of the leaders of Al-Qaeda. That was a big deal.
Possibly. I don't keep up with that man.
You should. He's the president.
I don't care what he is.
But that's the kind of attitude that...
No, it's also my right to think that.
It is, but then you don't...
It was his right
like you know everything about it either.
I never said I did. I even disclosed that I may not know everything about it.
But then I don't follow this man. You're talking about all
I follow
the
him
things that
now.
he's done, but you don't know the full story. I'm not saying
What full story? The impeachment hearings is what happened. Everything was disclosed.
That fizzled out before the war.
Yeah, but all of a sudden we're going into war the 3rd day of the new year?
That's why I said what happened.
There's also a video apparently that he planned to do this prior to his presidency. He mocked Obama for not doing it. and saying that he wasn't ready for it, but this is his diplomacy. This is the way he goes about it by doing a sneak attack.
No, he didn't mock Obama for not doing it. I think he mocked
said he
him
shouldn't-
for considering doing it.
And then he does it behind everyone's eyes, and all of a sudden we wake up to World War III.
Did you watch the? Because he said
Yes, I literally read the article from a source that is very, very well versed in this, and I'm sorry that I didn't save the follow or I didn't screenshot it for you, but literally he pulled up a tweet, and there was a tweet that he said, "I don't commend," or it was something about Obama going to Iran and starting a war to seal a second term.
But you don't have to screenshot it because we have these. But no, the video that I saw, which I believe is what you're referring to, he says that he didn't think Obama should do it because Obama wasn't
And what do you
lacked
call
the
this?
savvy to
And what do you
handle
call
it.
this?
Effective. I don't know where it's all going to go.
Effective?
I still want to know what the catalyst was for it because it's very
Why? Will it make it okay?
yeah, or it might make it bad. Like if he just randomly
What
did
catalyst?
this,
What
if he-
catalyst was so secret
if he
that
ra-
the American public wouldn't know? What was if the catalyst
There's a
was?
lot of secrecy.
But apparently he's all about openness. He's all about being
He might
transparent.
have tweeted it, and I just didn't see it. That's what I'm saying. I have to really look into it to see if he released the reason why he did it, or if it was just random. Because if he did it for no direct reason, if there was no specific thing that made it happen, then that actually
I want
gives
you to-
credence to
okay.
your theory that he did it just to look good or
What
whatever.
an imminent threat did we have prior to the impeachment? If Iran was such a hot water topic, don't you think when it came to the Democrats and Republicans and the safety of the nation and the safety of Iran and whatever Americans were on that soil and whatever innocent Iranians were on that soil, don't you think that we would have been focused on the war against Iran and not on the impeachment?
Again, that speaks to why we did it. There
Yes.
might have been something going
But
on that we
where
didn't
all of a
know.
sudden that the ball dropped and all of a sudden we killed a man, a very important, lethal man in Iran. I'm just.
But we don't know.
No, I get what you're saying.
wanna
I
know
get what
why.
you're saying that you want to know the catalyst, but Keith, that doesn't really matter at this point.
It absolutely
How?
does.
How? If the
Because if
catalyst
there
wasn't
was
prominent,
nothing new
if the
happened.
catalyst wasn't prominent before the new year, I what I'm getting. I get what you're saying. You, as a person who wants to know the reasons behind this, because you give moral reasoning to the intention. You believe in the intention, correct?
Intention is very important.
Okay, so therefore, where was the intention December 31st, January 1st?
We don't know.
But Keith,
That's why I
as
wanna
the
know.
President of the United States, how can you not prepare your military?
You don't know that they
your
weren't
personnel.
prepared. Just because it
Really?
wasn't public knowledge doesn't mean that they did. You really think they just got up and he said, "Hey, I want you to bomb Iran today"? I'm sure there was more going on behind the scenes. They can't release
Keith.
stuff like that to the public
Keith,
before it happens.
Keith, look at the chain of events. We were fine yesterday.
That you know of. We don't know what was happening behind closed doors. These things take a while to plan. Whether you agree
We'll
with
go
me or
with
not,
the ignorance.
I am.
We'll go with the ignorance
No,
of us not knowing what happened.
The reason why is important because yes, okay, if we just went after every bad person just because they're a bad person and they did things in the past, we'd be killing someone every other week. Did something specific happen that he said, "Okay, we need to get rid of
And
this
why
guy
hasn't
right
it been
now"?
released then?
It might have been, and we just neither one of us have read it.
What point?
I don't.
Someone would have it. Someone would have it.
Have you checked
New York
into
Times? New York Times. I would have released something.
Have you read the New York Times?
Yes.
To check
All I know is that apparently he's sending in troops to Iran right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why wouldn't I know the reason why behind all this?
You think he's just sending people into
And it's
Iran
funny
just
how
for the
all of
hell
a sudden, also during this hot mess, and also now a new plan to exempt global warming, in the new
That pisses me off.
yeah, but Keith, look at the chain of events
You keep saying that.
because it's important. The dog that's bringing the sled doesn't really matter. What's loaded onto the sled is what?
Your analogies just always amuse me, but it's go ahead. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's fucking hot in here. Well, come on, the chain of events. Give me the chain. The
So
first link.
this is what happened, right? We bomb Iran, right?
That's the first link on your chain.
From what we know.
Okay, all right.
From my recollection, World War III was trending on Twitter. Apparently, from what's been known, it was unofficial that President Trump was the one who declared the attack in Iran. All we knew that Iran was bombed. All we know, we didn't know who we killed, but it was speculated that we killed the second most important person in that politically in Iran. And then all of a sudden, come the next day, President Trump says that he is the one who ordered the attack. And then all of a sudden, we also know that is the most important and most lethal man in Iran. And that the consequences are so understated. Because this is multi-world consequences. Because the United States isn't governed on its own anymore. If you remember, this election was based on the notion that he was elected by Russian. It was hacked again.
Theory.
Yes, this is all speculation. All speculation, assuming.
I think Hillary was more likely involved with the Russians, but that's.
But this is all assumption. This is all speculation. None of this is concrete. Just please know that I state that, and don't quote me. And if you want to correct me, correct me.
I'm just saying. I think Hillary's pantsuits were made in Russia. Oh, come on, I have to break it up with something.
I'm not saying anything. I'm blowing my nose because my nose is being annoying. So therefore, Russia was already on our coattails and apparently financing this whole campaign, right? He's had conversations with Putin. He's had allegedly had conversations with Putin, allegedly had meetings with Putin, allegedly his...
No, he did have meetings. He met with all world leaders.
So
he met with Putin.
No, we're not talking about the UN. We're talking about specifically in matters that have to do
He's
with
visited various countries.
And then we've
Russia
had the
was one of
impeachment
them.
trials,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden people were coming out saying that they did have things with him. They were testimonies. They were as evidence. There was all these things, and then the court justified that impeachment was necessary because what was happening in the Mueller reports was true. He was ignorant enough to not know that everyone was talking about him in the Mueller reports. Fine, whatever. We're going at Christmas. Yeah, he thinks he thought he was never mentioned in the Mueller reports.
Trump?
Yeah,
they were about him.
And he thought it had nothing to do with him because they didn't mention him by name.
I don't know about that.
No.
I don't know about that. That's weird.
It was made fun of because he said it never. It said I. It said number one, or it said something about one, but it said never. He said he never said my name.
That story sounds more like a number 2 to me.
Look it up. Again, I'm proud to be fact checked because this man has caused more headaches than happiness at this point. So
that's a fucked up thing to say.
You're telling me he doesn't? He just said that he's building an initiative to make highways, construction, all this, and fuck global warming when Australia is burning to a fucking crisp.
I thought he meant me. I thought you meant I caused more headaches.
The president.
I understand now. I understand. And I appreciate that you're calling him by his proper title.
I don't hate the man, but I also don't agree what he's doing. It's selfish.
And I don't love the man, but I sometimes agree
with
what he does.
We're not in the economy to go to war.
Are you an economist?
You're telling me that we are?
I thought I just saw a giant cockroach, and I'm so glad I did.
You're telling me that we are?
I'm not saying that we're not. I don't know.
We're in $1 trillion of debt. Climate change is fucking us up. Australia is burning to a crispy crisp. And it's not funny. I'm not saying it to be funny. It's actually quite sad because the sky in Australia is red and now no one's known about it until this year.
I read that there was I think it was the B word. I think it was billions of animals were killed.
Yeah, but all of a sudden he thinks
that's gonna fuck up the
whole
ecosystem.
And he thinks it's prominent to go to war.
Okay, whether the timing is right.
What are you
defending? Timing is never right.
What are you defending about this man? What if you find out that he just went to war to go to fucking war? What if you find that out?
I mentioned that as a possibility, and
what if you find out?
I said if that's what actually I started to say, but you cut me off twice. I was trying to say that if that turns out to be the case, then you would be right. I am just introducing the benefit of the doubt, and no one wants to give him that. And that bothers me. Even if people turn out to be right, which I don't think they will.
Mark my words. Picture of the American flag in response to all this.
Good for him. He's a proud patriot. I want to know why now, and if the answer is acceptable, then I will support the decision, and if it's not, then I won't. This is not a you disagree with it, I agree with it. This is you disagree with it, and I'm just open. That's the problem with the President Trump situation, is the fact that if you just say, I don't hate the man, all of a sudden everyone's on your case. You literally just have to say, I don't know, I was watching. What? You're a Republican? You're a diehard Trump fan? You can't. You have to say you hate him, or you're ostracized, and I think that that's complete bullshit.
No,
I do not love Donald Trump.
I see your point, but no.
I talked to an old woman. Her name was Elizabeth. You might remember her. Sweet lady, but she needs a mirror when she puts her makeup on. And she told me that she was talking to her friends. This is a woman who had these friends for years. She's like 70, 80. And she said that they were in a conversation and they were all just shitting all over Donald Trump for her friends for years. And she simply said, "Oh, I don't know about all that. He might not be that bad of a guy." They all stopped talking to her. That's fucked up.
He could possibly not be a bad guy.
But you're not allowed to have freedom of speech when it comes to him.
You know why? Because he hasn't painted himself in the best way to have anyone's freedom of speech.
He doesn't try to.
He wants to take down Roe vs. Wade. He wanted to take down gay marriage at some point.
Disagree?
No,
I'm disagreeing. That's what I'm saying. I don't love Donald Trump, and I hope these things are shut down in the Senate.
He was never made to be president.
I told you. I said he might have been good as like a financial guy. But
I've always said that since the beginning of his presidency. He never should have been for president. He should have been for treasurer. He should have been for something that had to do with money. These global matters should never have been in his hands. Yes, Hillary was not the best alternative, but if we had another one, I would have chosen another one.
How do we end up with those two?
But how do we
end up the best two choices?
But how do we end up here?
And he's gonna win again. I'm telling you, he's gonna win again.
From what I've
Booty call?
No, I'm looking for the articles on this whole Iran situation because it's like I don't even want to talk about it. I didn't even want to talk about it during this podcast because it was like I'm not versed on it, and it's one of those things where it's like
the advantage of me though is that I'm not offering a specific thing. I'm just saying anything's possible.
I just don't want it to be from my psychological aspect. I just don't want it to be this selfish.
Oh, I don't either. But if it is, he's going to be fucked in the long run.
What?
Because he's giving proof to the people who doubt him.
What more proof do you need?
I think he probably had a good reason, but I want to hear it. The deed is done. Now I want.
What is a good enough reason for you?
Finding out that he was planning on attacking America. He had definitive plans. Finding out he had people hostage that we didn't know about. Finding out that he
so much so that it required killing the equivalent to the vice president.
But he was the target.
Keith, yes, but at the same time, you have to understand and you have to agree with me at some point that tact is necessary. You cannot just go in and bomb. If you want to sniper someone, sniper the shit out of them. You want to do a silent assassination?
Why did they do it, though?
Why a bomb? Exactly.
Because maybe he wasn't just trying to take out him, he was trying to take out the army, too.
Apparently, he was not the end-all. Apparently, he was not head of the organization. Apparently, he was not the mafioso of all the mafiosos.
And that's why I'm still open to the possibility that it was a mistake.
This is from what I've read. I didn't want to talk about it on the podcast today because I'm not that educated on it. If you want to educate me, please feel free. I am open to the feedback. Please educate me. I am not a history buff. But my point is the fact that I just don't want this to be because he decided to be who he is.
For the record, we're relatively on opposite ends, is what you might call a rational conversation, which I wish more people were capable of having. Because from what I've seen and heard, people can't talk like this to each other without someone ending up hating someone else because how dare you think that way? I disagree with him and he disagrees with me, and we are able to talk about it peacefully. And the average person can't do that, and that's why the average person should eat shit. Sorry, I just wanted to make that point.
There you have it, folks. But no, I'm going to wait to talk. Maybe next week we'll talk about this more in depth for a few minutes because I would like to read up on this and everything. But apparently from what I've read, people with glasses and obese people can't serve, so I'm okay.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. I think they're viewed as disabilities. I would never be. I could be wrong.
Obese people?
Well, it's a liability. If I lose my glasses, I can't shoot correctly and I can't view correctly.
Okay, all right. I hate to say it, but that's actually a valid point.
And then if I'm obese, I can't run on the field. I'm a liability. I'm more of a liability than an accessibility.
You should get in shape if you're in the army.
Exactly, but the thing is, I even joked about it to one of my friends, and they said they wouldn't take you because of your body measurements.
You're tall.
Mm-hmm.
You stand out.
And I'm broad, exactly. So it was one of those things. But I mean, for those, I'm so sorry. For those who have to leave their partners and marriages and families and children, and I am so sorry you have to go through that. And for those who are married and the kids and those who are so young they don't even know what's happening, I hope he comes home or she comes home, and I hope everything is okay, because this is an unfortunate situation, and to start the new year off like this is honestly quite unfortunate. And I am so sorry that you have to go through this. I truly, truly, truly am, and I hope that everything turns out the best and all this is resolved quickly.
I hate people who will hear what you just said and be like, well, they knew what they were signing up for when they joined the military. That doesn't make it okay. You know, that doesn't make it an easy thing to do, to leave your family and possibly not come home. I think that's a very judgmental thing.
Especially
for people to
because if I believe, I can be wrong.
That's coming from me.
I could be wrong. A lot of people who are in reserves are being pulled out now.
Well, if we got boots to the ground, they're going to need to pull those people.
Yeah, so
I really do, like, from my heart, like, I'm gonna look this up, because this gets a relatively new topic. I don't know when this is gonna air, but this conversation is taking place on January 3rd. So this is a brand new story. So I'm looking to read up on it and see what's going on, and hope that a nuke isn't dropped on us while I'm reading it.
I doubt it.
Although supposedly that's like one of the quickest ways to go. You just
yeah, but I doubt it. I don't think it calls for that. I think a lot of the battle will be on Iranian soil, unfortunately. And if there's any punishment from Iran to the United States, there's not much we can do. The only fears I have is for New York. But again, we're gonna drop this topic only because we are not well versed in it. We do not know what's happening, and this is all just brand new. So I'm dropping it.
So if we just keep talking about a situation that we don't know that much about and act like we know everything, we're basically the average American citizen on social media.
No, because a lot of the accounts I follow are either governmental or journalist.
Oh, I didn't realize I was in the presence of someone who only followed people who know what they're talking about.
If you're like me, who likes to talk about a lot of subjects, you have to know. All I know is that there are a lot of military troops going out to Iran right now, according to the New York Times and what they know. I know that thing. So, what is the second topic you'd like to talk about today?
Well, we do this thing on this show sometimes and sometimes not. It's not well uniform because it's that chaotic. Where we talk about 3 things that we love and 3 things that we hate.
Okay, you feel free to go first.
You know what I hate, Kevin? I hate the word Hawaiian.
Why?
Because it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, you wonder what I think about. I don't know if you do. You've expressed before, maybe, well, when you're up at night and you can't sleep, what are you thinking about? I was thinking the other day that I don't like the word Hawaiian. Because, I'll use Philadelphian as the next example. Hawaii. That's how Hawaii is said. Hawaii. But when it becomes a word like Hawaiian punch, it should be Hawaiian.
No, the accent's different.
Why does it lose the second? When you say Philadelphia, you don't say Philadelphian. You say Philadelphian. So it should be the same with Hawaii. It should be Hawaiian. Doesn't make any sense to me. Hawaiian is a word that is missing a syllable, and I think that should be corrected.
And how would you go about that?
By changing it in the Webster Dictionary, the little pronunciation key. And most dipshits will probably pronounce it the same way anyway, but maybe 50 years from now,
your efforts will be you will be so deep and so.
But you get what I'm saying, right? If you followed the same rule, it would be Philadelphian, not Philadelphian. You get what I'm saying, right? There's no reason to take the last syllable out of Hawaii.
Delphia and Fian are 2 different things.
Well, like a Delphin, like I-N.
Yeah, but he's from Philadelphia. He's Philadelphian. They're in different ways. The way they're put is in different options.
Yeah, but if it followed the same rule as Hawaiian, it would be Philadelphia, I-A-N, but just pronounced fun.
So it doesn't follow the same rule.
That's what I'm saying. It should. It should be.
Why?
Because it just doesn't make sense. Hawaiian is missing a syllable. It should be Hawaiian. He's a Hawaiian.
No, it's not.
It's not, but it should
Hawaiian. Hawaiian.
It's
Hawaii.
but you pronounce it Hawaii.
Well, isn't there a rule that two I's make us different syllable? Like the phonetics of it all is it?
Yes, but the AI at the end of Hawaii is a diphthong. You know what a diphthong
Yes, I
is?
do.
So
Diphthongo in Spanish.
it's not really seen as I. It's seen as AI. Two separate sounds. So it should be Hawaiian.
No.
Yes.
No.
It is wrong. It is a mistake in the English language, and I hate it.
Okay. You are all in your right. I guess it's my turn to say something that I love.
You don't have to. There's no order. This is complete chaos.
Something that I love would be the color black.
Okay.
I found a new love and affection for it. This
You
year.
already loved it.
I do, but for some reason I feel a connection to it. I feel the connection to the color. I feel very at home with the color. I feel very like I am supposed to love this color. It's very strange, but it's a color that I feel very at home with. I feel very comfortable with. It makes me calm. It makes me one of those. I don't know. It just makes me feel safe. I don't know why. It's a color that I often choose to wear amongst any other color. If I'm wearing a different color, I feel weird. I feel off balance. When I wear all black, I feel calmer. I feel more in control of myself, and I just feel okay.
As you can see, I like the color black as well.
What is the next thing that you hate?
People who abandon things just because they're not popular anymore.
Like what?
Yes, the last season of Game of Thrones sucked.
Horrible.
It was terrible. I mean, that was just proof positive that the two guys that were getting all the credit for the show, that were just riding the coattails of George R.R. Martin's work, were not that good. Because once they ran out of source material, they didn't know what to do with that last season. And then they got kicked off the writing team of Star Wars Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a show that was coming out on HBO that they just canceled because it wasn't good. So these two guys, that their claim to fame is going to be that people thought they were good for 7 years for the first 7 seasons of Game of Thrones.
If you think about it, if we're going to think about Game of Thrones, it's one of those things where it's hard to follow up season 7. Because it was the biggest climax. I would have been happy with 4 episodes in season 8.
Yeah, I mean, season 8...
They dragged it on way too long.
There was some good in season 8, don't get me wrong.
Like, I mean, that talk shit because I only watched 4 episodes of season 8 because I got bored.
Oh, that's right. See, someone who abandoned because
but
it wasn't popular anymore.
No, it wasn't that it wasn't popular. It was just it got boring because...
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. After they killed... You know what? I'm not going to spoil anything. I've learned from this. But when you watch it, you'll find out what I'm talking about. When that happened, it just lost all its thrill.
Oh, they don't get that. Because the episode that we recorded where I talked about how much I hated spoilers, there was no audio, so it never aired.
Well, I'm not referring to that episode. I'm just referring to the fact that...
You said you learned from here. I thought you...
No, I've learned to not spoil things because people have gotten mad at me for doing it.
Well, I'm taking credit for it anyway. I hate spoilers.
But, in my opinion, the way that they did the ending was stupid. Because it was off a moral that wasn't... It's kind of hypocritical in a way, because the person was born of the thing he disliked.
You lost me.
Like for Jon Snow.
Mm-hmm.
He was born from that mentality. No, because his parents were 2 different houses.
Yes.
I forgot. Sorry. My point is mute.
Mute.
Sorry, I was with Webster. How are you, Webster?
No, that's a lot of people do that wrong. It's not mute, but it makes sense because you think, okay, well, it's silent, it's mute, it doesn't matter.
Is it M-O-O-T?
It's actually moot.
Is it M-O-O-T?
Yeah, M-O-O-T. Oh, but what I was saying was people who abandon things because they were like, I love Game of Thrones. I'm sucking the fucking dick of the dragon of Game of Thrones. And then I'm like, yeah, I get it, the show's over, but I'm wearing a Game of Thrones shirt the other day, and someone's like, oh, Game of Thrones? That's over. So that means I don't like it anymore just because the show's over?
I think it left a bad taste in people's mouths.
It's
I
not
think it was-
semen. It's.
I think it was a committed relationship that people really got into, then all of a sudden they found out that it was just pointless at the end.
Okay, just because by that logic, then Lost sucked because
Everyone disliked
Oh my
Lost at
God.
a certain point.
Lost. I think Lost briefly ruined television because people were afraid to invest in shows after that. Because with Lost, they were like, "It's okay. It's gonna make sense at the end. I'm gonna keep watching it. It's gonna make sense."
That's like Charmed. Charmed really fucked you over at the end.
Never watched.
You
Charmed.
should. It would fuck. It will literally completely brain blast you because the ending wasn't what it was supposed to. Like it was something like it was heart wrenching and it gave you some satisfaction, but at the end, but you wanted more because it felt unfinished. Like what happened, what took place, it was a lot. That showed, but
Well, I'm gonna have to take your word on that.
like I'm worried about Grey's.
Oh,
Grey's Anatomy. We're on season 16.
no one is gonna be happy with the end of that show.
No,
It's been gone too long. People love it so much. Whatever the ending's going to be, people will probably be disappointed.
It
It
makes
will
me
still be better than the end of
nervous.
Game of Thrones, though. I'll tell you that right now.
yeah, I haven't watched it, but I heard it. I like to spoil shit for myself. You'll
Yeah, who
realize
does
that
that?
about me, but yeah, I don't know. I get, but that's a thing to hate. I get it. I'm often a very, 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 very big offense of that. So
Yeah, just don't knock me because I didn't just immediately give up on something because it was over. Like Harry Potter's, let's say Star Wars, but Star Wars is technically still a thing, so that doesn't count. But like, yeah, because Harry Potter's not on there anymore. What? I'm not allowed to have my little Wingardium Leviosa moment. Like, I don't understand what people do when they just like, okay, well the show's over, so
yeah, it's a weird concept. Okay.
yeah. But that is definitely one thing
Number 2.
that I hate.
The second thing that I love this week, I guess. Are we doing weekly or just whatever comes to mind?
It doesn't happen. I mean, if there's something more relevant and pertinent, sure, throw it out there. But here's the thing. You don't need to subscribe to recent or past. You could pick I hate birth. I mean, it's whatever's in your head.
I love a clean house. In a clean room.
I just want you to know the way you said that was so, like, there was no emotion behind it. I love a clean house.
Could be true.
Make them
I heard
feel it.
Why? They probably love a clean house as well.
Are you kidding me? Most of the people watching this are probably shitting themselves while they're watching this. Their house probably smells like mildew.
I hope not. But a clean house for me is what sets the tone for the rest of the day and the rest of the night, or just you hanging outside in your house. Sorry. I just love it. I love a clean room. I love when a room is neat and tidy. And we all know during the week it can get a fucking hurricane-like structure and everything's all over the place. But when it's clean, I just feel like you watch TV better. You enjoy food better if you do eat in your room. You just enjoy hanging out in your room that much more. Yeah, when I get a house, I'll definitely be hiring a cleaning service because my house will probably be big enough to the point where I don't want to clean it myself. But my house will probably be clean every single week.
I love that you're planning ahead. Because a lot of people get like a big house and they don't really think about the cleaning aspect of it. And then like they don't want to hire a cleaning service, but in the house you have a big house, but it's fucking filthy.
I am not against hiring outside service. What I will never, or I hope I never will have to hire outside service for is a nanny, a cook, and a chauffeur.
I'm sorry, if you hire a nanny, you're a bad parent.
I don't agree with that. I think
I take that back. There are reasons to have a nanny. The
I think
people
it's
who use their nannies to
responsible.
raise their kids, that's what I'm talking
it's
about.
a different. I mean, listen, to each their own.
Mrs. Doubtfire, like watching.
I think it's
after school.
responsible if you know that the workload you have is now going to interfere with you raising your child. I think it's responsible to hire a nanny because if you raise your child up to a certain point and you're realizing that your child will be missing out on certain things and you don't want to cut your child's experiences out, and hiring a nanny will increase the chances of your child experiencing those things. I think it's a wonderful idea. And I think it's if only a part-time nanny where they pick them up from school and, they feed them and all those things, and you spend the quality time at night. I don't see any reason for it that it should be a negative connotation. Cleaning services, I think it gives people jobs. I think it gives people sometimes purpose for those who don't know what they've ever wanted to do with their life, and if for some people it's a great side hustle and they do it with their free time and don't want to stay home all day. So if it's something that the person genuinely likes to do and they do a great job, I don't see why they shouldn't get paid for it. A gardener I definitely would hire because I don't have a green thumb, and whoever I marry probably won't either. So, but I want roses in my front yard. I've always had a fascination. I don't know why. I'm highly attached to roses. And I always picture
black, red, purple.
My mother loves black ones.
That's good for your mother. We asked about you.
Oh, wow, I have. Oh,
you also went somewhere with that I was not expecting. That you're talking about life choices and people who don't know what they want to do with their lives. And
well, no, because
I was talking about the general idea of hiring a nanny.
Well, I guess I always go off on tangents. Okay. Anyways, clean a house is the second thing that I love. Third thing that you hate.
You tell me what kind of rose you like.
That. We'll talk about that on.
What kind of rose do you like?
Any
rose.
Any rose.
Well, this is a bonus because I don't want to waste the third thing I like on this. But right now, at this very moment, I hate the person who set this room up because my balls are melting right now into my legs and my thighs, and I'm so fucking hot right now.
It is not that hot.
I am dying right now.
I mean, it's getting toasty, but it's not uncomfortable.
I am uncomfortable. I am hot. I am probably chafing now. Ugh. Okay. I hate people who feel the need to remind you at inappropriate times that other people have it worse than you. And I'll explain what I mean. Please. Yes, if you go off and you're like, oh my God, my life is over, I'm going to kill myself. Okay, maybe you need someone to humble you. But if you're just having like a bad day or something and you're like, oh my God, I hate these fucking people. And then someone says, well, there's someone who doesn't have both of his arms. Okay, I get that. And you don't think the person who has only one arm doesn't ever have a bad day? And is there someone waiting around to tell him, well, there's someone who doesn't have any arms? Like, just be like, oh shit, yeah, sounds like you have a bad day and move on. Don't feel the need to make the person feel guilty for having a bad day because somewhere out there in the world, someone is having it worse than him. Don't live in it. But you can visit there for a little while and be having a bad day and be in a bad mood without the need for someone to just throw it in your face that someone else has it worse. I think that's completely unnecessary and you should be ashamed of yourself. And you know who I'm talking about because you all do it.
I mean, it's a valid point.
I'm not saying that if someone is going off the rails, not say, all right, relax. Your life's not over. Shut the fuck up. You're being ridiculous. That's fair.
Thank you this morning.
And am I saying anything about that? But I can't tell you how many times, like, something will spill on the floor and I'll be like, oh shit. Oh, someone doesn't have arms to clean the mess up.
Well, that's
unnecessary. Shut the fuck up. Like, I get it. I'm not comparing myself to these people. Yes, there are all different levels, all different rules, but you're allowed to have a bad day. Just because someone else has it worse than you doesn't mean you can't have a bad day. That's all I'm saying.
You are entitled to your bad days.
I'm going to talk about me specifically. I am defending the general. Because I guarantee there's a lot of people, if they watch this, that know what I'm talking about. And they're like, yeah, I fucking hate it when people do that.
Maybe you could relate. And obviously that's a relatable point. The third thing that I love thus far communication. I think it's one of those things that I used to shy away from in my younger years because I didn't want drama. I didn't want any of this and I didn't want any of that. But I feel like within the recent months and the recent weeks, I feel like communication has opened up a lot of conversations that wouldn't have happened and conversations that needed to happen. And I think there's a certain bravery and wrapped in communication. And I feel like, and I've always said that in my relationships, I want open communication and I want open stuff, and I know I faulted on it in my own relationships, and I think that's something that I want to improve, and I think communication is something that I really, really, really been in love with, because the idea of being able to communicate to someone freely without the fear of being used as guilt or as an example to demean one's personality or stuff like that, I think is really important. So I think communication is one thing that I've been actually really been focusing on. I suck at it though, but I want to improve on it.
It seemed like you specifically mentioned relationships, but I think communication is important for any friendship,
I've
family.
Honestly,
You know,
I've honestly been blessed in the sense of my friendships, because a lot of my friendships' personalities are similar to mine. So the communication has we started off communicating constantly, so that there's no hoopla about the fact of what we're not communicating and what we're not communicating. I just have a huge problem saying no, but then I just bust her up the balls and say it. But when it comes to expressing ourselves and our feelings about situations, whether it turns into an argument or not, I think the communication is always there. So I think in my friendships, the communication is quite solid, but in other aspects, I had to improve, and that's also on me. So yeah, those are the 3 things that we love and we hate. Hope you enjoyed them, and if you have also 3 things that you love and you hate, please leave comments down below, or let us know in any which way possible form is available.
I feel like even on something simple like this, opening up to people making comments is just asking. It's gonna turn into some sort of gay bashing racist dialogue, just like every other open chat.
I welcome it.
Like I'm not even exaggerating. I can't be specific because I don't remember exactly, but I promise you that this is really not much of an exaggeration. It's like someone will post something about, oh, today's a beautiful day, blah 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 blah. Very grateful for everything, and then you just scroll down in the comments, and
there's always that one hateful
someone's like, "Fuck black people," and
yeah.
it's like,
there's always that
Hail
one
Hitler, and like this is what happens. I saw I have to give him credit because this is an old skit, but I'm quoting not directly, but Bill Maher.
Okay.
He did a thing about internet hate, and it was one of the funniest things ever, and it was funny because it was true. Mm-hmm. It was said, like Betty White.
Love her.
Who doesn't love Betty White?
Yeah.
Someone posted a picture. No, it was. I forget what social media it was, because Betty White's not really on social media, but she's on something. And there was a picture of her. It was a beautiful picture. She's smiling, and Bill Maher's like, "This is for real, people. Like this is." And then he scrolled down, and someone posted, "Hey, you dead yet, bitch?"
Yeah, because people think it's funny.
It's Betty White.
You have similar humor.
Okay, but I wanted, but to post that publicly. Like, if you're just trying to be like whatever, but that's a very nasty thing to do.
I agree.
There was and I'll only do one more because I don't want to quote the whole fucking skit. But so that was an ad for the Cheesecake Factory, right?
I've been itching to go lately.
It was just you've mentioned it a few times, but there was just a picture of cheesecake, and it says the Cheesecake Factory, and someone actually took the time to post "Fuck you, cheesecake."
Someone got really scorned by cheesecake.
Like, I don't know. Like, what? Maybe he was fat or something. He blamed cheesecake for being overweight. I don't know. But someone actually took the time to write "fuck you," not to Cheesecake Factory. "Fuck you" to the cheesecake. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But
all right. So let's talk about one topic that is controversial.
I'm pretty sure the first half of the show.
So let's end it.
The war was all controversial.
Well, what's controversial? In
abortion. That's kidding. We don't need to talk about that.
Ever on this podcast.
We will, trust me. But you want to talk about something controversial?
I know. How would you like to end the podcast? We always had a big issue on ending this podcast because we never know how to.
Because we never want it to end. Actually, I kind of want this one just because I want something left of my testicles by the end of this. I don't know. I am so hot right now. I cannot say that enough.
Mind over matter.
And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I'm hot, but I mean physically hot. Like I'm sweating.
So what would you like to end the podcast on?
Well, I mean,
you know what we should do? We should make little like things on paper and put it in a hat or something and just pull it out.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, that's how we end the podcast every episode.
And we'll just pick something out and say, okay, fuck Chinese food, and then
Chinese food is so good.
I don't. It is.
It bloats you quite quickly, but it's honestly I'm down for the bloat.
Yeah, but then you're hungry again in an hour.
Literally. So it's they know what they're doing. But what would you like to end the podcast on?
You kind of put me on blast. I don't.
What do you think you'd like to talk about? Anything you think we missed that we should touch on? Or?
Well, I mean, I still fucking hate Amazon shoppers. That's for sure.
I mean, Amazon is getting quite annoying, I won't lie, but it's a business, and it's a business that's thriving, so we can't really do much.
I need you to know, as seeing him earlier and seeing him now, how funny that is. Because you're like, yeah, I mean, it is. I see the look on your face when people come in, and the fourth person in a row walks in, they're like, yeah, I got a few Amazon returns, and you're like, yeah, I know.
You know what?
You don't even, and I'm not insulting you. That's great. I love that you don't even hide it. But don't be like, well, Amazon's gonna do what Amazon.
No. Here's the thing. What irks me about the whole Amazon process is that my brain works at 60 miles per hour minimum.
Debatable.
No? When does it not?
You can't measure the speed at which your brain is
over dramatic.
And I'm being unnecessarily specific.
So anyway, as I was saying, my brain works at high speeds constantly, and at minimum, it does what it needs to do. What happens with Amazon is that some people take their time with this, and then they want to be hyper involved in the packaging and all that stuff. And I don't mind it. It's just, it's a quick process. Let's get through it together. I have no issues with helping you, but when I get attitudes about how Amazon said this and Amazon said that and blah, 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 I kind of don't know what to say, because when I tell them the truth, they don't believe me. When I don't tell them the truth, they believe. It's a bunch of bullshit that doesn't need to happen. But in all, I don't hate the Amazon process. I hate how repetitive it is sometimes, because sometimes our day is always filled with that.
I mean, sometimes repetition is good.
Yes, but when it comes to things in a field that you know, it's always one of those back and forth things. It's kind of frustrating. But I have no issue with the people who come in with Amazon returns. I welcome you. Just please know that if I do have an attitude, it's not because of you or Amazon. It's just because my mind is forced to slow down, because I understand it's a leisure application. If you think about it, it is an application where you just sign on, return your stuff, and show a code. There is some sense of relaxation to the process.
Not for me.
Not for us.
For me, it's a slice of fucking hell.
For him specifically, please know that I do not agree with that kind of anger towards Amazon. I just don't like the repetition sometimes, but it has nothing to do with my disdain towards Amazon, because I just bought 2 humidifiers and a toaster on Amazon. Hopefully they work. I'm looking forward to my humidifier. Please be aware that you may hear that in my love section next week if it performs how I hope it does. And maybe I won't be touching my nose as much, because again, it probably will perform as it's supposed to.
Do you have much experience with things not performing how they're supposed to?
No, actually, things have performed how they were supposed to and how they were meant to. So I have no complaints in that area. Have you?
Sure.
There we are. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Please like, comment. Let us know what we can do better. Let us know what topics you'd like us to talk about next week if there's a comment section for it.
Or just tell me to go fuck myself, like a lot of people probably would.
It's one of his fetishes, so he'll probably like it. So we will see you next week, and how would you like to sign off?
Well, I have my tagline.
Please say it.
Like I always say, shit happens, and then you flush.
Have a wonderful night, everyone.